Hey Okaneko, it's Amanda or Queen Nakayasha, and this is gonna be some sort of honesty vlog because something happened on Valentine's Day that made me realize something about myself, and I feel like I would like to open up to you guys or something. But for those of you who are lovelies like me, you've probably seen the steam train from Valentine's Day that ended up turning into a podcast between Danny and Kevin. And Dan was talking about hating himself and learning to love himself rather than looking for someone to love you and to love. And I immediately started crying because that was exactly what I needed to hear, and it made me realize that I hate myself. I have hated myself for years. I thought that there was something wrong with me, and that was why I can't find anybody to spend the rest of my life with. Which brings me to something that I want to come clean to you guys about. My ex-boyfriend cheated on me, and it was really terrible. And the story about that is, when I was 19 and a half, that would be it was the summer of 2009, the end of summer 2009, I met this guy through one of my best friends whom I had been friends with since I was 11, and I really liked him. And about a week later, he suddenly kissed me. And I was in a complete state of shock because I really, really liked him, and for him to do that to me, I was terrified. And that's kind of like a trait of Asperger's, at least with girls. I'm not 100% sure about with guys, because obviously as an Asper girl, I don't know much about Aspie boys, but I get really scared whenever something like that happens to me. I was frozen. I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. But I was shaking. I was extremely cold. I refused to say anything, so I just shoved my diary in his face so he could read my last journal entry saying that I liked him. And we've practically have been together since then. About almost 7 months into our relationship, I lost my virginity to him, and things have started to gone a little downhill since then. He lived with his mom, and actually no, his big sister didn't live with him, but yeah, he lived with his mom, his dad, and his niece, which is really weird because his sister doesn't live with them. And to clarify, he is 2 years older than me, and at around this time I was 20, so he was 22. Anyhow, back to what I was saying. His mom and his older sister were extremely overprotective of him. You wouldn't believe. They would get up all up in my face if I act affectionate toward him in front of them or anything like that. And in my opinion, they're batshit crazy. I mean, totally crazy people. One day, his sister accused me of saying like mean shit about his mom, and she confronted me about it to the point where I started crying. And I didn't even say anything bad about her. They just didn't like me. And then one day, I was sitting in my best friend's car in front of his house, waiting for him because we were going to go over to my best friend's house and play video games and stuff. And I don't remember what caused it, but I had a little temper meltdown, which is another trait of Asperger's, like a sudden burst of anger. And usually when people witness women with Asperger's have temper meltdowns, they think that they're like crazy, psycho. And that's what his mom and sister got from that little tiny temper meltdown. And because of that, they banned him from coming to my house. And that made me extremely angry. And then at the end of the spring 2010 semester, I was supposed to meet up with him so that we could hang out and stuff, and I hadn't heard from him. So I decided to call him. His mom picks up his phone, and she says that she doesn't want us to see each other anymore. And she pretty much, in a nutshell, she was pretty much calling me a hussy. Like, she's like, I see all those hickeys that you leave on my son, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that's what adults in love do. And she kept saying that you're not really in love. She even had the nerve to question whether or not I should even live with my parents because both my parents have attempted suicide in their past. Anyway, I was extremely upset. I was a blubbering mess, and after I told my mom about it, she just darted out of the house and drove to their house to give her a piece of her mind. I have no idea what exactly went down when she was there. But I was a total wreck for a couple weeks. And then my best friend Linda, who was back in town for summer vacation from college because she went to college in Monterey Bay. She wanted to have a belated birthday party type of thing because her birthday was April and this is May. So she invited me, her boyfriend, now husband, Brian, our other best friend, Jennifer, and she let me take my other best friend with me. So we went to her parents' house and we went swimming in their pool. And she has a Wii, like her family has a Wii with video games like Smash Brothers, Mario Party, and stuff like that. And the unnamed best friend kept insisting that we should play Smash Brothers, but Linda didn't want to, saying that it's her birthday party and that she should choose what we should do, and that made that best friend angry, and they started fighting. Then Linda's mom came into the discussion asking what was going on, and the best friend said, your daughter's being a total bitch. And then that led to Linda's mom having a fight with the best friend. She got so upset, she just darted out of Linda's house, and she called her mom to pick her up, and she left, and I was a total wreck. I pretty much locked myself in their bathroom crying, with Jennifer comforting me. Then she offered to drive me to this best friend's house to check up on her, make sure that she's okay. So we did that. When I went there, she was a blubbering mess. And I was like trying to console her, and that was when she told me that she had slept with my boyfriend 4 months after I started going out with him. This is like 9 months into this relationship. She fucked my boyfriend while I was with him. I was speechless. I immediately went out of the house into Jennifer's car, and I had cried like I had never cried before. I had high hopes that I would somehow get back together with him. And to hear that this friend whom I have been friends with for almost 10 years stabbed me in the back and slept with my boyfriend. She specifically said that it was like pretty much right after my birthday too. And that they did it again after his mom broke us up. What the hell kind of best friend does that? I was a complete mess the entire summer because of that. I really thought I loved him. I gave him everything. And he lied to me. Like, he even said at one point, like, saying, hey, like, by sleeping with each other for the first time, it's like we're giving each other our virginities. Nope. Anyway, because of that, I couldn't trust guys anymore. I haven't been with anyone ever since, because I'm afraid that things like that would happen again, because I honestly thought that there was something wrong with me, and that's what led him to doing that. Like a couple months later, they got in touch with me asking for like closure and stuff like that. He apologized, and it seemed like things were okay. I didn't necessarily forgive him. I'll never forgive him or this friend ever. But yeah, it seemed like things were okay for a little while. Then that October, this friend had a Halloween party and invited me. So I went, and I was so stressed out there that I spent pretty much the entire time I was there in the bathroom, because when I get stressed, I get stomach issues, and I probably had Crohn's disease back then, because now I'm not even 100% sure if I ever did, but yeah, I got really, really sick just from being in their presence. So I went home, and I haven't spoken to them since. There have been a couple of times where that friend had tried to contact me through text. I wouldn't respond. I set my Facebook profile to private so that none of them would see what I was up to. About a year later, like out of the blue, his sister like sent me a private message on Facebook saying that the college police knows about me. And I'm like, I haven't seen this guy in like a year. What makes you think that I would do anything, especially after what he did? And that's another thing. His family knew what he did, and they were okay with it. And they wanted to ban me from seeing him. Batshit crazy, I know. But back to the point. A couldn't help but think that he did that because there was something wrong with me. And because of that, I hated myself. And that led to me not taking care of myself. I wouldn't bathe as often as I should. I definitely did not brush my teeth as often as I should. I have gone months without brushing my teeth for different periods of time. And obviously, you could tell by the way I look, I wasn't eating right. I wasn't exercising. I just gave up. And I actually miss being loved like that. But I wasn't making much of an effort to learn how to love myself. So that brings back to the subject that I hate myself. And hearing what Dan had to say in that episode of Steam Train was exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm gonna work very hard to learn how to love myself. And I'll let my next love come to me when I least expect it. I'm sorry if this video is a little depressing for you, but I hope you enjoyed it somehow, maybe learned a little something new about me. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe if you're a noob. And before I end this video, I want to give a heartfelt thanks to Danny Sexbang for what he said in the Valentine's Steam Train. Thank you so much, Danny. You've really opened my eyes, and I'm gonna try my hardest to learn to love myself. And next time we meet, I owe you a big hug, because I owe you so much. So much that you have said helped me learn more about myself. From loving myself to OCD and depression. You're like a wise man to me or something. But that's it. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. And to everybody else, I'll see you next time. Bye.